What's going on, y'all? Nick here, coming to you with another video. So you guys, if you guys didn't hear or don't know, we in the next lesson for jazz chords. All right, if I believe this should be music lesson number 10, understanding musical chords 3, introduction to, excuse me, this should be music lesson number 11, understanding musical chords 4, and this is the jazz chords inversions. Give me one quick second here. All right, guys, so again, this is music lessons number 11. Now, if I'm coming loud and clear, please let me know in the chat. I like to do these videos live sometimes because just in case you guys have questions, I'll be able to respond in person rather than doing a video, which, it works as well. But, if you guys have questions while I'm doing something or explaining something and you guys may not quite get it, if you ask the questions live, I may be able to actually explain it in greater detail. But let's actually get into it. Also, just a little bit of foreshadowing. If you guys can see to the right, you can see that that's actually a video. This is, for those of you who may know, that's Judah. All right, so after this lesson, the goal is that you may be able to actually play Judah. All right, I want to thank Pastor Dow for allowing me to actually use some of the songs from Straightway to actually be able to teach some of you all. But anyway, let's just get right into it. So musical inversions, right? Jazz chord inversions. Now, we actually did cover inversions in a previous lesson. So if you recall, I'll do, let's say, the C major chord. Alright, now if anybody remembers the C major chord, you know that it's comprised of the 3 notes. I'm talking about the triads, by the way, the triad C major chord. So it was comprised of C, E, and G. And if you play all those 3 notes simultaneously, then we have the C major chord triad. Now, the whole concept of inversions is that you do not need to play the notes completely linearly. All right, in other words, if I was to change the arrangement of some of the notes, it's still a C major chord. I'm just changing the arrangement. So rather than spelling it C, E, G, like I said, linearly, what I could do is probably remove the C from the root position and press the C on above the G, right? So rather than doing this, if I remove the C, right, if I can remove the C and go to the C above the G, notice it says C over E. It's still a C major chord fundamentally, right? It's just that the E, it has not become the root position note, right? But it's still a C major chord. Also, I can actually remove the E from the root position, right? And take the E above the top C, right? And now notice it's C over G. So again, it's still a C major chord, but now the G is now the root position. So again, I'm not gonna go too deep into that because I actually have a whole video of that where I explained it. I believe that was the jazz lessons number 2. No, excuse me, that's the chord lesson number 2. All right, so I went over musical inversions, right? Chord inversions for the regular triad. But now you're probably wondering, okay, how can we apply it with the jazz chords? So just a quick recap from the last video. Jazz chords are nothing more than just the same concept of skipping every other note within a scale, right? So if this was the C major scale, right? I taught you that to build chords, you pretty much skip every other note within the scale. So rather than I'll do C, skip the D, go to E, skip the F, go to G. And if I keep that same concept going, I could skip the A and go to B. And that was our introduction to the jazz chords. So pretty much that's when you start seeing major sevenths, right? And again, this works for all notes. It doesn't only work for C. I'm just using C because C is the simplest, and you're not dealing with any sharps or flats. But again, you were supposed to learn this in all 12 keys, right? As I've taught you in the last video. Now, what we need to understand is that that concept of inversion still apply to jazz chords. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of jazz chords that I personally like to do, but it is so vast, you guys. It is so vast. And again, remember what I've always taught you even from the beginning, that my goal is to actually give you the tools necessary for you to learn music. But if you understand it, which is always the key, is not to regurgitate what I'm telling you or regurgitate what anybody else has told you, but if you can actually understand the musical language, then you can literally take this knowledge and apply it on your own. You can learn from other people, and then this is your journey, right? So I don't want you to be carbon copies of me, Nick. But what's my point? I'm going to give you some musical, some jazz chord inversions that I like to use, and hopefully you can find it pretty beneficial to your musicality. So first, let's actually understand this. So we have C. Oh, Householder Johnson, shalom. Again, you guys, if you guys have any questions, if I'm not explaining something clear enough, please just let me know while we actually on the live so I can answer it in person. But let's get back to it. So as we doing the jazz chord inversions, right? We have C, E, G, and then we have B. All right. What you can do, which is very interesting, again, just change the arrangement. So now one thing that I personally like to do, I like to take out the two middle chords, the two middle notes, excuse me, which is E and G. E. I like to take that out, and what I like to do is actually put it above the B. So I'll take the E, and notice, if you guys can see on the screen, it still says C major 7, and that's what's so beautiful, right? Because again, the inversions don't change the actual chord. It just gives it a different color. So again, I'm going to play the regular jazz chord, right? Linearly. Versus this. Right? Now, what sounds better? It's subjective. It really depends on what you want to do and what sound you're looking for. But the most important thing is that I'm trying to show you that it doesn't actually change the quality of that. I'm going to give you a bonus, you guys, all right? This is a bonus. All right, so C major 7, it sounds cool. It's not bad. But there is also one thing that you can add to the C major 7 that could just spice it up and just make it sound a little bit more jazzy. You can sound a little bit more sophisticated, all right? So again, the concept of building chords is skipping every other note within a scale. So what you can do to make your chords sound just a little bit more sophisticated, you can do C, E, G, B, and then skip one other note. So then you're going to end up skipping C and go to the D. And now notice it turned into C major 9, right? And that 9 chord, now let's actually understand, why does it say C major 9? Okay, what's the concept? What's the theory behind it? Okay, I'm going to explain. So remember, the name of the key that you're in. So for example, if we in the key of C, C would be considered degree number 1. Respectively, let's say if I'm in the key of B, B would be considered degree number 1. If I'm in the key of A flat is considered degree number 1, etc., etc. All right. So let's go back to C. If I'm in the key of C, C is considered degree number 1. So now let's count it. All right. Let's count it. Let's play the regular scale and count the notes as we play them. All right. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then notice 8. We're back at C, which again, you guys should have known this from the scale videos that I've done, right? But that's why they call it an octave. So from C to C is an octave. Which is the prefix for the number 8, right? Almost like octagon, if you guys are good at math. So from C to C, D to D, E to E, F to F, etc., that will always be 8. But notice after 8, if we were to continue playing the scale, D would now become 9. So we said that D was the second, but D can also be the 9 if we play above the 8th degree C. All right, are you guys following? I hope you guys I haven't lost you guys. So I'm gonna do it again. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9. So now with understanding that the D above the C, the octave C, is 9, let's actually see why it was called C major 9. So I'm going to play the root position C, right? Then I'm going to play the 3rd degree, which is E, the 5th degree, which was G, the 7th degree, which is B. That's why you start seeing C major 7 on the screen. And then when I skip the 8 and go to the 9, you see C major 9. Now, again, it's all subjective. In other words, the subjective is just a fancy way of saying it all depends on you, right? Does this sound better? For me personally, I think it does sound a little bit more sophisticated, a little bit more mature, right? I do believe the major 9 sounds better than just a regular major 7. But again, it's up to you. It's optional. I don't want to tell you what to play. I'm simply giving you more tools in your toolbox. All right, if you want to play the major 9, go ahead and play it. But why are we going to play that? Because now we're going to make something sound a little bit more interesting. Again, this is the topic of inversions. So originally, if this is the regular C major 7, I told you that you can take the 2 middle notes, the 3rd degree and the 5th degree, and play it above the B. So now I'm going to play E, A, G here. Right? And then remembering what we said about the 9th degree, we can actually play that D above the octave C. And here you go. All right, that's C major 9. Now notice how it's comprised. I could do a C major 9 looking this way, or I could play this way. I would love to hear from you guys. Which one do you guys think sound better? Please put it on the chat. Let me know. I would like to interact with you guys. Do you think the regular root position C major 9 sounds better? Or do you think the inversion sounds better? I would love to hear what you guys think. Again, it's all subjective. All right. Here's another trick I'm going to give you guys. All right. You can actually do one more inversion. All right. You can do one more inversion where I like to use it a lot. But considering that we're playing again the C major 9th, right? Now, this is the regular root position. This is playing it linearly. Oh, Householder Johnson, you said the inversion sounds better. I'm glad you enjoy the inversion. That's my favorite one too. And again, I think for a majority of the audience out there, they may not understand music the way we do, but everybody knows how music makes them feel. And when you play those notes, I guarantee you people are going to be like, man, that thing sounds good. And I'm going to show you in the context. That's why, again, if you see to the right, I'm going to play a straightway song called Judah, and I'm going to show you how you can fit some of these inversions in there. But anyway, getting back to the lesson, if you're playing C major 9 in the regular position, right? One more thing that I like to do is that I like to take my left hand, all right, if you guys can see it, and I like to play degree number 1 and degree number 5. So notice I'm skipping the E, which is degree number 3. Now with my right hand, right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play degree number 7. Then I'm going to play degree number, this gets interesting, y'all. I'm going to play degree number 2, or 2 or 9, right? Then I'm going to play degree number 3 right next to it. And then I'm going to double up with degree number 5 on the top. So that's another one that you can do. And that also, in my opinion, it makes it sound real mature because now you kind of have the two notes grinding together. You could kind of hear both the second degree and the third degree. I'm saying second, but it's also the ninth, right? Which is the D. You have that ninth degree or the second degree grinding with that third degree, which is usually something we don't do, right? Because I usually tell you skip every other note. But this is one where technically, since it's an inversion, the 9, which is also the 2, is right next to the 3. So it kind of grinds together, but it still sounds mature and nice, right? So you hear. And notice when you play it together that way, it doesn't actually sound muddy, right? So again, that's just the option that I'm giving you guys. Now, here's an exercise I would like you guys to do, okay? So that you can actually understand this and have it in your tool belt. So I'm sure in the regular position, I've taught you in the last video that you can simply go up the scale and play all the 7th chords. All right, so let's actually spell them out. You have C major 7, right? D minor 7, E minor 7, F major 7, G7, right? That's a G dominant. Remember I taught you guys in the last video. So the 5th degree, when you skip every other note and you play a 7th chord, it's actually a dominant. Okay, so always remember that. G7, A minor 7, now B minor 7 flat 5, or you could call that B diminished 5. Either one, it's fine. And then you go back to the C major 7. I taught you that in the last video. That's how you should learn all your major chords, and you should do it in all 12 scales. That's the key. Never only do it in C, or else you're not going to be a complete musician. Now, let's take that same concept, but let's do the inversions. So knowing that I taught you to take out both the 3rd degree and the 5th degree of that chord and put it above the 7th degree. So in other words, what does that look like? Take the 3rd and 5th degree, take it out and put it above the 7th degree. This is the 7, so put the E and the G above it. That is how it would sound. That's the inversion. And then you could do the same practice. Just go up, right? F major 7, G dominant 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, right? And then C major 7. If you learn that, and you learn that in all, 12 keys, then I would actually recommend you move to adding the 9th. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see how that would sound. Oh, matter of fact, let me address this. So the G7, you could play it with the inversion, but I'm gonna show you why I wouldn't actually recommend that within particular types of music. All right, so I'm gonna show you what I mean. Just remember that. But let's actually see how we add in the 9 with sound. So we have, right? So notice, simply go up the scale. So same concept. The key of B, right? So it was sufficient in all 12 keys. So for those of you who are actually a part of our ministry, you would know that when, let's say we're jamming, right? You see the musicians sometimes after Shabbat service, we just start jamming. The reason why I continually stress out learning these notes, these chords in all 12 keys is because a lot of the times we're just jamming, right? It's just random songs we know. And the last thing you want to do as a musician is asking other people, oh, what key are you in? Or you can't follow because you're not proficient in a particular key. Because I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I'm showing you certain things in the key of C, but we don't only play in the key of C. We play in all the scales. All right. So again, you're gonna severely handicap yourself if you only learn these things in one key. All right. Again, be proficient in all 12. But I just gave you an example of 2 scales. I'm gonna show you one last thing. I'm gonna show you the second inversion I did. So you have the one where with my left hand, I'm gonna play degree number 1 and 5. Then with my right hand, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play degree number 7, 9. And notice they put sus2 because the 2 and the 9 is the same, right? But it's really 9. 9, then the 3 right next to the 9 or the second, and then you have the degree number 5. I'm gonna double up with degree number 5. And notice when I do it that way, it goes right back to C major 9. So same concept, you guys. Just do this. If you can remember this, how this shape looks. So again, I'm doing degree number 1, 5 with my left hand. Then with my right hand, I'm doing 7, 2 or 9, 3, and then I'm doubling up on the 5. And you could do this in all the degrees of that particular scale. So I'm gonna show you how it sounds. All right, you guys. So I gave you 2 inversions that you could potentially use. Are there more ways you can play jazz chords? Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. And there's multiple ways for you to play jazz chords. However, I just really wanted to show you guys, this is an introduction of playing inversions, just so that you can spice up how the songs sound and when you play them, all right? And also, too, by doing such, that's when you're going to start entering the realm of, some of your favorite songs that you probably hear out there. I personally, I don't listen too much to R&B like I used to, but I may, sample them if I'm just trying to just improve in my overall musicality, right? But, if there's a particular chord progression you're trying to learn, I'm telling you, these jazz chords is going to help you get to that next level. Like, for example, what's that one tune? I believe Just the Two of Us. You have... Right? So I don't know if you guys remember Just the Two of Us. Just the two of us. Right? Right? So again, everything I just did right there is the jazz chords. All right? Let's break it down. Let's say if I did Just the Two of Us again, right? What I did is I did the 1, the 7, right? And then I did 3 and the 5, and I did the 9, right? Notice it's the same chord, right? But I'm just doing it in a different key. So you have D flat major 9, but it's the same concept. I did 1 and 7 on my left hand, and then on my right hand I did 3, 5, and 9, right? Now, this is that other inversion that I taught you guys, right? Where I did 1 and 5 with my left hand, and then I do 7, 9, and 3. And you could tell because notice those 2 notes are like right next to each other. You have the 9 and 3 right next to each other. And I double up on the 5. Right? And then... Again... I'm not going to go too far because, I know some of you are just getting introduced to it, but I just want to show you guys, like, everything I'm literally teaching you, if you can master it, you are literally on your way to learning almost, dare I say, 80 to 90% of the music out there. It literally, guys, it's that powerful of a tool. And we only in lesson number 11. That's what makes this so interesting. You literally have unlocked 80 to 90% of the music you hear out there, whether it be popular music, R&B, jazz, gospel, literally all these songs start to be opened up to you, and right? So you're gonna start realizing, like, man, was it really this simple all this time? The answer is yes. And I'm hoping that you will realize how simple it is because of the understanding, the new profound understanding that you've obtained. Again, music is a language. It's not designed to be hard, but you need to obtain the understanding so that it can help you grow a lot faster. All right, so let's actually go into it. What I'm going to do as I'm playing the Judah, my goal is to actually show you how to play it both the most simplistic way possible, which is the triads, right? So if you just want to play along with straightway music, I'm going to literally show you the basic way to go about playing this song. And then I'm actually going to show you guys how to play it using the jazz chords. The jazz chords are not necessary. I want you guys to understand that. Hey, bless you, Delano's wife. Bless you, right? The jazz chords aren't necessary to play straightway music. I want you guys to understand that. However, that is the reason why I'm showing you the jazz chords, because if you can play it, it will definitely make the song sound more full, more wholesome, more mature, and it's going to just make you stand out even the more so. So again, I'm going to show you the first time I play the song, I'm going to show you how to play it using only the triads. And then I'm going to show you how to play the same exact song playing the jazz chords. All right, so stay tuned for that. But let's just get right into it. And I may stop the song often just so that I could break down what's actually taking place. So bear with me, y'all. All right. Do you guys see that? It's that simple. You guys, that's what makes this so amazing. I literally remember when I was learning music, and I'm still learning music, right? I haven't arrived. I don't know it 100%, but I remember when I used to hear some of these songs, and I used to be like, man, what are these guys doing? And this is why I'm so passionate about this, because if you guys can understand, again, that's the key. If you can understand what's going on, you start realizing how much further you can grow. And you guys, I'm telling you, that's how simple it was. Again, there was 4 chords, and that is literally all there is to this song. So I'm going to go again, right? You have A minor, which again is the triad. We've learned A minor. And also, let me also add this fact that we in the key of C, right? So there is no sharps, there is no flats, but we in A minor. Then we go to the F major. Then we go to D minor. Then we go to G major. All right. I'm gonna perhaps embarrass myself a little bit, but hey, I'm not ashamed about it. It's all for us learning, right? But we bless your name, oh Yahweh. Right? We bless your name, oh Yahweh. It's that simple. And literally you repeat that throughout the entire song. Now, what would be my recommendation if you're playing it only using the triads? Okay, so if you're using the triads, because the triads are so basic, you never want to play the triad only with one hand. What my recommendation is you should double it using the right hand. All right, so the triad, let's say we're playing A minor, right? Triad, which is A, C, E. I will double it with my right hand, which is an octave up. Notice it's still A minor. It doesn't change. And that's what I would play. Versus, notice it doesn't really change the chord, because they're all the same notes, but when you double it up, it just sounds a little bit more full. All right. So again, I would never, if you're not at that point where you could play the jazz chords, I would never only play these songs or any song with just one hand. All right. Don't only play the triads with the left hand and call it a day. Now you probably might get by, but that's not how that's not how a piano player plays. Let me just say that. You don't just play with one hand. All right. So double it up with your right hand. So this is how you play it. We bless your name. We bless your holy name today, right? We lift your name on high, right? We worship, oh sovereign King, right? So that's it. It's literally those 4 chords. So I'm not even gonna go any further because that's literally all there is. There is a caveat though, because I'm gonna go into it, but during the chorus, there's some things that is kind of wonky. So I'm gonna teach it to you. However, those are the 4 chords throughout the entire song. All right, so you don't need to worry about that. Now, how would that sound like if you're playing it using the jazz chords? Okay, so let me actually show you guys. All right. So I don't know if you guys could hear what I actually did there, but it was designed to make it sound a lot more, again, mature. So let me actually break it down for you guys. So notice I did the inversions. Now, could you have done the jazz chords in the root position? You could have. Like you could have done. All right. All right. Now, this is the key, and I told you I was going to revisit this. Whenever you're playing the 5th degree, for a lot of songs, I would not actually do the G dominant 7. I would not do that. What I would actually do, the 5th degree chord in every scale is the one chord where I would actually just play the regular triad. And that's because that dominant 7 it's a very strong note. Those notes are usually, again, dominant 7s. Are usually reserved for blues. All right. So unless you're intentionally going for a blues sound, and I'll give you a perfect example. So like this is what the blues would sound like, right? Notice that's a C7. So the concept of a blues, and that's actually going to be for another lesson, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. The concept of dominant 7s is that you're taking the 7th degree of a chord, right? This is the regular 7th, C major 7. You take that 7th degree and you're going to flat it by 1 degree, right? So if I flat the 7 and I'm playing B flat, it becomes C7. That's the concept of a 7th degree. It's literally that simple. You're just taking the 7th degree and you're going to go down 1 half step, or you're going to flat it. All right. But notice if I play this, right? Right? Now we notice we probably hear that a lot in blues, right? All right. Right, so you can kind of hear what I'm talking about, right? So 7th degree, dominant 7 chords are usually reserved for blues. So that's the reason why in regular music, whether it be pop or rock or whatever the case is, R&B, a lot of times we avoid just playing the regular dominant 7 when it comes to that 5th degree chord. All right, you guys. So I would actually play, once again, the regular triad 5th degree, but I would double up on the 1st degree. That's pretty much what I would do. All right, that's what I would do. Now, what I did in regards to the jazz chord is actually play the 1, the 5th. Now, this is very interesting because again, it may sound muddy, but it's actually not in the context of the music. So with my right hand, what I'll do is play the 1. And again, we're talking about in the key of, like, let's say we're talking about a G chord, right? Where G is considered degree number 1. With my right hand, I'll play the 1, 2, 3, and then 5. Right? And notice what it says. It says G add 9. you guys see that? G add 9. But I'm avoiding playing that dominant 7, which is that F natural. We're gonna actually take that out. So this is the closest way we can make a pretty jazzy sounding 5th degree chord. All right, so I'm gonna show you again how I played it. So I did, right, which is the inversion, A minor 9. And now I change it. So the first time I did the first inversion that I've taught you guys, right? And then the second time around, I do just to add a different color. Then I go back to the regular F major 7, which again is up to you. That's why I said it was subjective in the beginning of the video, because you could actually do the same. You could do the second inversion that I taught you with the F chord as well. This is how it would sound like. Does it sound bad? I don't think so, but you guys let me know in the chat, right? So you could do. And there you have it. Again, it's only 4 chords, you guys. It's only 4 chords. If you learn these chords, you can play the entire song. So I'm going to play it all the way through. And then when we get to the chorus, I'm going to show you guys, how the chorus, there is something within the song that I just want you guys to be mindful of. Oh, thank you. It sounds great. So again, and again, you guys, if you guys know me, my goal personally is to actually see all of you who actually are learning from me. If you guys can be playing on stage in the future, then I'll know that I have succeeded in teaching you guys what I intended to teach you. But let's actually get back to it. I'm going to play again. When I get to the chorus, I'm going to show you guys something that you need to be mindful of, or else you may end up clashing with the rest of the band. So let's get to it. Now I'm going to go back to the triad. Jazz. All right, so I said I was going to stop at the chorus. Now, why did I stop? I want you guys to pay attention here, all right? So let's just do a quick recap and let's show you how the chorus is actually different. Now, if I recall, I think the first 2 choruses are different, and then it's gonna return back to normal. So what do I mean by that? So far we've learned that it was the A, right? A minor 7 going to, or let me just talk in terms of the triads, all right? So you have the 6th degree, which is A minor 7. Then we go to the 4th degree, which was F major. Then we have the 2nd degree, which was D minor. Then we have the 5th degree, which was G major. Okay, that's how we've been playing the song this far. Now, when the chorus hits, again, I believe it's the first 2 choruses, what you're going to do is actually alter it. Now, how do we alter it? What we actually going to do is play the A minor 7 or the A minor. Then it goes to F major. And then rather than going to the D minor, like we would play in the beginning of the song, it goes right back to the A minor. And then it goes to the G major. So I want you guys to actually remember that, all right? So we're not going to go to the D. We avoid the D when it comes to the first 2 choruses. Now, when you really think about it, you guys, which is actually quite interesting, you know, the reason why this works, let me just give you some theory behind it. And I'm actually going to move it up a couple of octaves just so that you guys can see. But if we were playing it the normal way, which is A to the F, then to the D, then to the G. When you do it, when we play the chorus and you eliminate the D, you start to realize like it actually does not change the song that much. That's why it's very subtle, but it's still important to do it because I believe Brother Brett, who is usually the one who actually plays the song on the bass, I believe he doesn't hit the D for the chorus. Again, the first 2 choruses, and that's the reason why you don't want to necessarily touch that D chord, or else there might be some clashing that's involved. But let's actually show you something, right? If I did the A minor going to the F, now in the chorus it goes back to the A, right? But what's interesting about it, that if I had played it the normal way, which was the D, it doesn't really change it. Because if you notice, and this is what makes it so interesting, right? If I spelled out a D triad, you're going to have D, F, A, right? And if you play the jazz chord, we know that we have to skip every other note. Notice we would have to skip, and I'm talking about the D chord, right? Right? D, F, A. We'd have to skip B and go to C. Right? But notice, oh, what's starting to take place here? You have that A that's present in both chords, both the D, minor 7 and the A minor, right? You have the A that's present, and you have the C that's present. So you start realizing like, okay, and if I was to extend it and do a D minor, 9, then you start realizing like, okay, so what makes a D minor 9, right, which is what I'm playing right here, and the A minor different? In actuality, they're actually really the same chord. It's just that I eliminated the D and the F on the root. But if you think about it, D minus 9, it contains the A minor triad in it, right? It contains that A minor in it. I'm just adding a D and an F. So these are little things, I just wanted to throw that nugget in there to ask you, like, why, you probably wondering, like, why does that work, and why, it's so subtle, but yet, it still works. It doesn't clash. And that's because essentially it really is the same chord, but they just eliminated the D and the F in the root. But you don't go to D and then you finish off with the G major. All right, that's all. And so let's actually play it. All right, so the chorus is done. So at this point in time, again, what I just taught you only applies for the first two choruses. So because we're back in the verse, we actually going to play that D again. All right. So I just wanted to point that out so that you guys are aware. No D. Wow. So we have Niece, bless you, bro, Ning, and thank you. For some reason, I can't scroll down. But hey, bless you, sir. I'm glad that it's helping you. So you guys, this is important. So because now we're actually in chorus number 3, and this is exactly what I was warning you about. So we actually are going back to playing the song the way we did from the very beginning, meaning that you're going to actually add the D minor chord in there. All right. So again, that's something that it's very subtle. It's very subtle, and you might even get away with it. But if you're trying to be as pure to the song as possible, the first two choruses, you're going to eliminate that D minor for the chorus, for the first two choruses. And then in the third chorus, that's when you go back to just playing the song the regular way. And what's so interesting about it, again, it's literally only 4 chords. You guys, it's this song, as good as it sounds, that's what's so beautiful about it. As beautiful as it sounds, it only has 4 chords, you guys. And I think that goes to show you that music is not as complicated as people make it out to be. It's really not. You get what I'm saying? So long as you know these 4 chords, and more importantly, you understand it. So I want to add one caveat in there, right? I notice sometimes I talk about the degrees, right? The reason why I talk about degrees, if you guys don't remember, I'm going to try to give you a quick recap. It's always important to think of these notes in terms of numbers. And the reason why that's important is because it would help you transpose, or which is just a fancy word for saying playing the same song, but within a different key. If you can understand the scale degrees of what you're playing, it's going to help you play them in different keys much easier. Now, for example, right, this, although I was saying A minor 7, understanding that we're not playing no sharps or no flats. If you guys, been following me, what key is that? If you're not playing no sharps and no flats. Please put it in the chat below if you guys actually, was paying attention to the previous lessons. But if you're in a scale where you're not playing no sharps, no flats, right, then we're in the key of C. So now we got to ask ourselves this. Okay, what is A minor 7 in relationship to the key of C? Oh, okay, it's just the 6th degree, right? It's just the 6th degree. So in other words, what we're doing is the 6th degree, then we're going to the 4th degree, then we go into the 2nd degree, then we go to the 5th degree. That's all it is. You get what I'm saying? So that's what makes it so interesting. It's literally 6 to 4 to 2 to 5. It's that simple, guys. You get what I'm saying? It's literally that simple. I could literally play the same Judah in all 12 keys in theory, right? I'm not going to do it in this video, but that in theory, you could play every single song that you've learned in all 12 keys. And that's the reason why I always emphasize that. Learn it in all 12 keys so that it makes you just that much more of a well-rounded musician. Okay, so let's actually finish up this song. For the most part, because all the chords remain the same at this point, I don't think I'm going to be stopping at all. So, yeah. So let's just finish up the song. And hopefully you guys... I put the virtual piano on the screen so that you guys, just in case you may not understand what I'm saying, you can still always like pause the video, or I believe there's a feature, if you go into settings, you could press playback and you can slow down the speed of the video. All right. So again, these are all tools to kind of help you out so that you can just learn this a little bit better. But if you feel like playing at the regular speed might be too fast, that might be something you may want to do so that you could pick up on it a little bit better. But slow it down, pause the videos and actually say like, okay, what is the notes he's playing? Okay, you know what I mean? How is he fingering it? Then you can also look at that box above the piano where you can see the naming of those chords. All right. So it's not just you regurgitating what I'm saying, but you actually knowing the fingering of the notes. And then you can actually look at the actual, the notes itself, the chord spelling itself. And you can be like, oh, okay. So if I do this, that's a C major 7, or that's a B flat minor 9, etc., etc. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, let's actually finish up this song. This is when it gets powerful, y'all. Oh, excuse me. I hope you guys can hear me. I was muted for a little bit, but I'm gonna just repeat what I was saying a little bit. I hope you guys learned everything that you needed to learn and take away from this lesson. Um, and take away from this lesson. I really pray that you guys watch this video multiple times, all right? Because again, it's not a race, you guys. It's not a race. It's you on a journey, and don't ever feel like you're competing with the next man. You're just competing with yourself, all right? And take the time, take your time to actually learn what you need to learn. Again, watch these videos two, three, four times, rinse and repeat, slow it down, do whatever guys need to do. Again, I've always given the analogy that music is like it is a language. It's literally a language. And the same way, I don't know if you guys remember phonics, where you have to literally write a million times before you can move on to B, and then you have to write B a million times, etc., right? It was a slow process, but literally it's necessary for you to learn how to read and write, right? It's the same concept here. These things that I'm teaching you, the reason why I don't like putting out videos back to back is because I know that if you guys are doing the work that's actually required, again, the biggest key is, I keep telling you guys, you got to learn it in all 12 scales. So this song right here, I'm going to just show you guys, we were playing in the key of C, right? But remember, I told you the scale degrees was 6, 4, 2, and then 5. So if I have a random key, I don't know, let's say I'm in the key of B, all right? You can literally play the same exact song. So I'm gonna show you guys, right? So now again, I'm not a singer, you guys, so bear with me, but I'm trying to just show you something, right? And this is the reason why the degrees are important. But there's no one like our Yah, He deliverer with an everlasting salvation, right? Notice I played the same exact song, but I'm in a totally different key. And that's the point that I'm really trying to show you guys. Like, all these songs that I'm teaching you guys, you need to learn it in all 12 keys, because that's what's going to make you more well-rounded. That's what's going to give you that confidence. So, like, for those of you who want to probably be a part of the jams, I see it all the time. Please chime in the chat if you guys seen it yourselves. You might see some of the children and the youth, they come up and they want to play, the drums, and they want to play the guitar. They want to play these instruments, right? And it breaks my heart, because I was there. Sometimes, the more tenured musicians got to be like, oh, I'm sorry, maybe the next song, right? And that's like a nice way of us putting it, where it's just like, you're not there yet, right? That's the reason why I'm doing these videos, because I actually want you, the youth, those who may want to partake in some of these jam sessions, or who want to be on stage and play, and all of it at the end of the day is for the glory of the Most High. That's also important, right? We're not there to get some type of recognition, or there to beat our chest, but it's all for the glory of Yah. But at the same time, if we're gonna represent the Most High, you gotta represent Him in the best possible way, right? So you need to know what you're doing. You need to know what you're doing. You got to understand it. So guys, so again, my hope is that you guys will really learn and take these lessons, and that you will be able to actually replace some of the more tenured musicians. Because I personally, I don't have an ego. If you guys ever say, man, can I play this time around? So long as you proficient enough, I definitely wouldn't mind you guys taking up the mantle and replacing me, whether it be on the keyboard or the sax or whatever the case may be. So one last thing before I head out. So the homework is to play everything that I just taught you in all 12 keys, right? That's number one. Number two, I'm going to give it some time so it can marinate and that it can sink deep down inside. But the next thing I'm going to do, I'm actually going to teach you guys how to solo. Man, that's all the notes that I was playing in between. So like, if you probably saw me, right? All those notes where now you can start to soloing. In other words, is really just like spontaneous composition. So in other words, everything that I want to say in my mind, that's when you start hearing a lot of these, jazz musicians, gospel musicians. They do a lot of these licks and their runs on the right hand, right? Right? All those notes and all that stuff they doing, that's where I'm going to go in the next lesson. I'm going to teach you certain things that you can do so that you can start to spruce up your playing even the more so. Again, we covered the jazz. Pretty much, if you learn this, guys, again, y'all on your own. Do it. You can learn whatever songs you want on your own. Now we're going to go into soloing concepts. All right. That's when you usually see, we might play a song, and then we kind of all look at the guitar player and be like, all right, it's your turn. Let me see what you got. You got to be able to solo. Or we look at the piano player. Let's see what you got. You got to know how to solo, right? So that's the next step that we're going to get into. Again, it's going to be fun. I want you guys to enjoy this journey, all right? Anyway, if you guys got anything from it, beautiful and even more when led by the... Hey, exactly. even more when it's led by the Ruach. Exactly. When that spirit hit, when you know, but you know, again, if you guys enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, comment down below. I tell you guys this so that it can trigger the algorithm and help other people find this video, and also share. Right, if you guys know anybody, whether it be in the ministry or a friend, whatever the case may be, share it with them because it may help them learn as well. Again, the information I'm giving you is literally information that people pay thousands of dollars to learn at a university, at a college. You get what I'm saying? They end up in debt. They end up in debt, you guys, just to learn some of this information. I'm literally giving it to you all for free. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that YouTube stuff. And with that being said, Nick over and out. Jesus is king, y'all.